The hidden curriculum. Hidden curriculum to me is the set of social constructs and norms and values, not just in cues, social cues, not just within the society as a whole, but a zoomed in aspect of something that could be like a classroom, it could be different households and public spaces like stores and restaurants and stuff like that. Certain like places, like one setting and who was around, who was in there. How might someone with autism break these rules of social interaction? In a large setting, say there's a concert for a school, for a choir or orchestra, when there's a presenter speaking, it's like this is this ensemble, you're not clapping, you're being quiet, you're listening to the speaker who is coming on next, and then you're quiet during the performance of an orchestra or a choir so you can hear them. You're quiet, and then when they're finished, and then you take a moment and then you can clap. You don't go woo woo woo, you don't yell out names, you don't go yeah, you don't yell anything. That's inappropriate for that setting. That's more appropriate for actual concerts like Bruno Mars or Taylor Swift, not an orchestra or a choir, whether it's a school setting or it's in professional, like a downtown Cincy or something. Those would be a way of breaking social interaction because that's incorrect social etiquette. Ways I can do this with one-on-one is reading like body language and facial expressions. Say like students are sitting in the table together and it's supposed to be a whispering time or quiet time, and they're like individually working on stuff, and they're both sitting next to each other at like a table, and say the students with autism or Asperger's is starting to like talk because they have like, they're confused, they're talking out loud, they're just thinking out loud, whatever they're doing, and they're kind of looking at the person and they're kind of like directing towards them, but like they know they're supposed to be quiet. The person who's working independently will call her Jessica. Jessica's supposed to be knows they're supposed to be quiet and they're supposed to work independently. So she doesn't want to get in trouble because she knows the teacher, Miss Rebecca, is gonna take away a sticker or something from her chart if she starts talking. So she doesn't want that to happen. So she understands that she needs to be quiet no matter if someone's talking to her. So she's gonna turn her body away from the student with Asperger's. We're gonna call him Jimmy. We're gonna call him Jimmy. So she's gonna turn away from Jimmy and she's not gonna look at Jimmy. So she's gonna look this, but Jimmy's not going to understand that the way Jessica is standing and not looking at him and body is not facing Jimmy, he doesn't understand that means she does not want to talk. Whether he can understand the whole norm of Miss Rebecca doesn't want so to be loud, he also doesn't understand that what Jessica is the cues Jessica is giving off also means that she does not want to talk. He misses both of those. So yeah, I did a concert, I did in the classroom answer. Misreading facial expressions wrong, like say like someone makes a joke and maybe they understand that like people are saying jokes between like maybe it's a group of like 4 or 5 or maybe it's 7 or something, and they're like making jokes, everyone's taking turns laughing, and then someone says something, then they laugh again, and they kind of get used to that pattern or something. Or usually, and during that time, like when they hang out with these people, they're laughing and making jokes, but maybe this day, it comes again on this day, and someone makes a joke that's inappropriate, that says a slur or something that's just not true, and it's not nice to say, and everyone else just kind of doesn't laugh, and they kind of look down, and they frown, or they just don't smile. The student with Asperger's or autism, we're gonna stick with calling him Jimmy, is not gonna understand that the people around him who are making those faces of like looking around, not smiling, looking down, not laughing, are indicators that like that joke was not funny, that there was something in that joke that should not have been said. The student with Asperger's, Jimmy, will laugh and not know, maybe not even recognize that other people are not laughing, because he is familiar and used to the concept that when they say something, you laugh, and then because it's a joke, maybe he understands it's a joke. How should teachers teach the hidden curriculum, and who should teach the hidden curriculum? I feel like this is one question, and two, I believe that teachers of hidden curriculum can be pretty much everyone in their lives. I think peers play a very important role. I mean, in the article that we read, it mentioned cussing in a certain classroom, that one teacher didn't mind cussing, but no adult can tell a minor, hey, you can actually cuss in this classroom. That's not appropriate, that's not okay. So when it comes to that, I think peer teaching and modeling and behaviors and communication between peers, that's why inclusivity is so important, to understand how to operate in a social environment with other peers. They'd be like, and that that one peer can, whisper like, hey, in this classroom with this teacher, we can do this and this because she's okay with it. That one's not. And they can do it in a very simple way. They're like, oh, they can say like, Sabrina just cussed, but that's only okay because it's Miss Gracie. Miss Gracie doesn't mind cussing in the classroom. A peer can say that to them, but not a teacher. And I do feel like the hidden curriculum has multiple teachers. It can be actual teachers. It can be, first of all, direct instruction is very important, whether it's peer. That peer that I modeled for you would just be like one person, like whispering to them, telling them that this is the environment, that's like what's acceptable, what's not. And of course Jimmy with Asperger's might break this rule and not understand it and go to a different classroom and start cussing, and then people go, ooh. But again, those are facial expressions, and they're not going to understand that. So for them to understand a teacher, this can be a teacher or a peer, can say, oh, we don't cuss in this classroom. Most likely a peer, so then they can explain, we don't cuss in this one, but with Miss Gracie we can. So it's a bit different. Hidden curriculum teachers, I feel like, should be kind of everyone in their life, even in public. If you're at a restaurant, and like in the article, it's an example of like usually in a restaurant, you stand and wait to be seated, but at McDonald's, you don't wait to be seated. So I think a teacher for that would be someone, like it could be a worker, it could be a customer, just like, hey, like here you can sit where you want, like, and then like kind of guide them, like, hey, we can sit here. Where do you want to sit? You can sit here, and then you take them, like, this is where you order your food. This is McDonald's, and that's how it can be explicitly taught and said by someone, not a group of people, but like one person. That could be also a parent as well. Parent, teacher, peers. I feel like they all teach the hidden curriculum. I mean, the hidden curriculum is not something that's straightforward. It depends on each environment and each social norms and values in the environment.